welcome to Nerd Bites, and this is going to be my top 5 X-Men films. We've had quite a few X-Men films over the last few years, some good, some not so good, so I'm going to give you my top 5 X-Men films. Before we carry on, obviously there'll be spoilers, but if you haven't seen these films by now, what the hell have you been doing? In at number 5 is X-Men III The Last Stand. Now, a lot of people didn't really like this film. I didn't mind it. It was probably one of the weaker of the films, but I still thought it was good enough to end the trilogy that we knew back then. A lot of shockers in it. Xavier dying, did not expect that to happen. The Phoenix storyline didn't work as well as I wanted it to, but I was still kind of happy it was on screen regardless. Even though it was Vinnie Jones playing Juggernaut, I was happy to see Juggernaut for a change. We got to see Beast, finally we got to see Beast. We got to see Colossus properly armoured up and doing his thing. And we got to see Iceman for the first time ever, like, icing up. And that was good. The fight between him and Pyro was pretty damn awesome. I thought it was a great film. The Wolverine, yeah, he was still the main character, but not too much that it pushes too much. Like, it doesn't take away from anything else. Overall, it was good. We got a lot of brand new characters, like things like Angel as well. He was a brand new character. Look, a good way to kind of end it and everything, having this cure as the reason that we don't have to have mutants anymore. It can cure mutants, which obviously we know doesn't work, but at the time it was temporary. But yeah, it was a good film. I still reasonably enjoyed it. In number 4 is X-Men, the first X-Men. Now, this was the first ever kind of 21st century comic book film, basically. This was the first one that started, and then not long afterwards we got Spider-Man with Sony. But this film was a kind of thing that kind of got the ball rolling. It was good, it was grounded, it didn't have too many characters, it was very minimal. It basically focused on Professor X and then 4 of the X-Men, which are Storm, Jean Grey, Cyclops and Wolverine. And then it focused on the Wolverine storyline. Obviously they find him and he doesn't know where he's come from, and that's how the kind of gist of the story goes. They also base it on Rogue quite a lot. She's the young tearaway, and obviously her powers, she can absorb people. Obviously Magneto needs to use that to full effect, so he can use his weapon to turn everybody into mutants, and he needs Rogue to do that. And that's basically the gist of the story. He takes her, they have to get her back, massive fight on Liberty Island, and it was good. It was a good film. For the first time sitting down watching it as a kid, I was like, well, finally an X-Men on the cinema. This is awesome, and it was great. It was a real good breakthrough film, and I'm glad that we finally got a comic book film, and that pushed to get more coming. In number 3 is X-Men First Class. This was a film that I did not expect to happen. Then out of nowhere, they're doing a prequel film where Professor X and Magneto meet each other first time. Having James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender was just like that. It was perfect. It was brilliant casting. The film was awesome. It's them building up for the first time ever, X-Men coming together for the first time, and the whole conflict between Charles and Eric as well. And basically the overarching thing was Magneto going out on his own was the basic gist of the story. But it was a hell of a film. It was well directed, it was well shot. It gave you nice little knocks to other films. It was just a groundbreaking piece of work. The music was awesome, the cast was brilliant, the story was great. I absolutely love prequels, and seeing the start of the X-Men and how Professor X went to go, I'm going to make a team and I'm going to open a school, and this was the way it happened, and it was brilliant. I mean, even with Hugh Jackman's little cameo as well. It was that was also brilliant. Go fuck yourself. It was brilliant. It was so funny. The comedy they put into this was really good as well. And overall, I just thought it was a kick-ass film. Then number 2 is X-Men II, X-Men United. I've got one thing to say about this: Nightcrawler. End. I'm kidding, of course, but it was awesome. This was the idea of a sequel done right. It just amped everything up from the first one. Loads more characters introduced, including Nightcrawler, of course, because he's one of my favourites. The first 5 minutes of that, with him just taking on the White House, were just insane. It just got you straight into the action. It didn't fuck around. It was brilliant. And the gist of it was Stryker, the guy that made Wolverine, basically. The story carries on with Wolverine. He's trying to make his own Cerebro, which he uses from Professor X. And his son Jason has also got telepathy, and he wants to wipe out everyone that's a mutant using Charles Xavier and his own Cerebro that he's made, and that's the gist of the story. It was wicked, it was awesome, it was so much more amped up. You saw much more ferocity in the character of Wolverine, lots more killings. It was brilliant. It's like, this is the Wolverine we were looking forward to seeing. We definitely got it in this film. In at number 1, probably somewhat obviously, but it's X-Men Days of Future Past. This was just so damn good. It was on par with the Avengers film. It was that good. It was the best X-Men film, I think, today. It was a brilliant time-jumping story. You would, from the outside, you thought this looks like it's going to be confusing as hell, but they made it so seamless. They made it so good. They sorted out all the continuity errors that were going through the other films. They gave little knocks to the other films. Everything was all together. It just worked so good. Having the new cast and the old cast together, it was brilliant. Wolverine has to travel back in time to stop Mystique killing Bolivar Trask, which is played by Peter Dinklage, and stop him from creating the Sentinels, which ultimately destroy the world and turn it into an apocalyptic era, basically. The acting was awesome, the story was brilliant. We had new characters coming in. We had Sunspot, we had Bishop, we saw Colossus again, we saw Iceman doing his ice slide. We had Quicksilver. Quicksilver's scene was one of the best shot scenes I've ever seen. The running around and everything going in slow motion and him changing everything with the music going by. It was an epic scene. It's a shame we didn't get more of him, but I have heard we are going to get more of him in the next X-Men film, X-Men Apocalypse. As we're at First Class, it kind of had the story going with Eric. With this one, it had the story arc going with Professor X and getting him back to neutral, because he's down on his luck. He doesn't want to do the school anymore. He's kind of become a bit of a junkie to get his leg back, but not his mind. And it's Wolverine that has to get him out of his funk. Him and Beast have to do it together. They manage to do it, but it takes a long time to do it. And they have to stop Magneto, so nobody sees mutants as a threat. And that's the whole gist of the story. It's basically saying, we are here, but we're not going to hurt you. Some of them will try and hurt you, but there's a lot of us that won't. We're just like humans, some good, some bad. And the film was epic. Seeing the Sentinels on the screen for the first time was just the best thing ever. The time jumping story was a good idea, again, because you get to see all of your favourite characters getting killed. Iceman getting killed, Bishop getting killed, Storm getting killed. That was a big shocker. Colossus getting ripped in half. It was a snuff film. And it was brilliant because you were able to see all these characters die but not have to worry about you're never going to see them again, because it's a time jumping story. They sort out the timeline by saving the world and then they don't die. It was brilliant. The last few scenes where Wolverine wakes up in his normal time and then Jean Grey's back and Cyclops is back, and you're just like, oh my god, this is brilliant. What a way to end the old cast legacy before we carry on with the new cast. It was just a brilliant way to end that. And it was just one of the best films I have seen in a long time. And then the end credit scene. The end credit scene was probably one of the best end credit scenes I've ever witnessed. I've not been this pumped up for a film since I saw Thor's hammer just after Iron Man 2. It was the sand, and straight away as soon as I saw sand I was like, I know what this is. It panned up with a guy in a big cloak moving the pyramids and putting them together with everybody chanting En Sabbat Noor, which as we know is Apocalypse. And it pans around, you see his face, you see the 4 horsemen on the hilltop, and then it ends and you're like, oh my god, it's X-Men Apocalypse next. This is going to be the best thing ever. What a build up, what a film. So that was my top 5 X-Men films. Let me know what you thought. Which films did you like? Which films didn't you like? Let me know down in the comments. Also, you can send me an email as well. You can also find me on the various social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can also find me on moviepilot.com. Just type in Nerd Bites anywhere, and I'm sure you'll find me. And of course, keep it nerdy.